It is un-Islamic, it is unhuman, it is unethical to keep the body even for 10 days and you are waiting for 10 years. My prayers are with you, and I strongly condemn this action of Hamas. And hence, this action in self proves that Hamas is a terrorist organization. I pray that no mother on Mother Earth go through what you have gone through. The body of your son should immediately be released and to hand it over to you. That is your right. That is human right. That is your legal right. That is your Islamic right.
I'm Leah Goldin, mother of Hadar Goldin, that almost a decade ago, he was kidnapped and murdered by the Hamas in violating a ceasefire. This all happened on August 1st, 2014, after the Hamas launched thousands of missiles over Israel, and the IDF decided to enter Gaza to destroy the underground terror tunnels.
My name is Peer Syed Mudassir Shah. I am from Pakistan. I chair Sufi Council, which is a networking organization of Sufi leaders around the globe. It is my honor to be here, but first accept my condolences.
Okay.
I cannot share your pain because I realize as a father, as a son, that what you have gone through is even hard to describe and hard to feel. My humble prayer is that no mother in the world go through what you have gone through.
On August 1st, 2 hours after ceasefire was declared by the United States, United Nations, Qatar, Egyptians, Hamas violated this ceasefire, killed his team, and kidnapped Hadar into an underground terror tunnel. And his friend and officer entered the tunnel, found his clothes, realizing that he was kidnapped. Unfortunately, 36 hours later, the IDF decided that there is no chance that he is alive, according to forensic evidence. And since then, the Hamas is holding the body of my son, preventing from us his burial, and using him as a bargaining chip to blackmail Israel and the whole world. And I'm here as a mother that is struggling with my family along the years to convince the world that this is not just a violation of the international humanitarian law. This is a violation of our basic religious value as Jewish people, and according to all the religions, specifically according to the Islam, that we very soon learned that Prophet Muhammad, quote, that he's not bargaining with bodies, even bodies of enemies, and those have to be released to their families immediately and unconditionally for decent burial according to our religions.
Let me be very honest, very straight, very clear in my words, that keeping the body of your son is not a religious thing. It has no religious justification in Islam. It is not a humanitarian thing. Humanity, religion, ethics, values, traditions, nothing allows it. The body should be returned to its origin, to its family, as soon as possible, without any condition, without any terms, without any negotiation. That body belongs to the family, and according to Islam, I'm speaking with full responsibility. it deserves a burial as soon as possible. It is un-Islamic, it is unhuman, it is unethical to keep the body even for 10 days and you are waiting for 10 years. My hearts and thoughts go with you, my prayers are with you, and I strongly condemn this action of Hamas. And hence, this action in self proves that Hamas is a terrorist organization that has no logical, religious, ethical grounds to exist. And I will say that each and everyone who supports Hamas is supporting their crime. They are part of this crime. So people, communities, countries should shun off Hamas, withdraw their support, and if they don't have this courage or this moral standing, at least they should pressurize Hamas not to use the name of Islam for these unethical things, and they should put pressure on Hamas to return the body of your son as soon as possible. Being a Muslim, as a Muslim, what is going on the name of Islam, that's not Islam. Islam was there to give respect to humanity, not to insult humanity. A person's life is very precious in Islam. Every dead body is very respectful in Islam. You know, the Islam I know and I practice, in that Islam, God resembles him with his love with the love of mother. And testing the love of mother for 10 years is not Islamic.
Unfortunately, here in Israel, I've experienced war since I was born. But during the last 30, 40 years, it actually became a war against terror, which is tremendously different, you know. We've experienced terror inside Israel, outside Israel, but here, what happened on August 1st, when my son was actually kidnapped and killed in violation of a ceasefire, was a real turning point. Because we in Israel have been we are used that if there is a war, at the end of the war, you know, there is exchange of prisoners of war, and to begin with the dead one, with the deceased one, which is, as we talk, happens in Ukraine. They exchange the deceased. But what happened here, from our point of view, like a giving in to terror entity, which is the Hamas. And the whole atmosphere is that they are terrorists, so we don't have anything to do with it because they violate everything. Since 2014, and since Hadar was killed in a ceasefire, we started walking the world, you know, approach international organization, international... we were looking for international justice, you know, saying this is a violation of the humanitarian law, please do something. And just to remind you, according to humanitarian law, there is a specific chapter discussing the deceased, kidnapping helpless people, prevented for burial according to all religions. So it's not something private that is my understanding or gut feeling. It's something well known since World War II. But and actually this actually moves the responsibility to the world, to the nations, you know, that we are actually discussing something that is fundamental religious issues, that you don't use it as a bargaining chip. And for the last 10 years, either we get the response, we cannot do anything because they are terrorists and they don't obey anything. But I keep saying, no, they are religious. They at least present themselves as religious, because when they come to kill us, they call Allah Akbar. So they use the Islamic religion as in order to rationalize whatever they do. Now, on the other hand, since this all is connected to humanitarian law, it actually becomes a worldwide responsibility, specifically to the Islamic countries, because I don't expect to change terrorists. They are terrorists, and they should be punished. But I'm calling, and I need your help to call those Islamic good countries and not so good countries to say, no, this is unacceptable. This is not Islam. And they should not stand aside. Being silent against this violation of our religion is actually taking part of it. They should do something to change it. And the change would be to bring Hadar unconditionally and immediately to decent burial, to us to bury him. And I don't know, Hadar, the meaning of the word Hadar in Hebrew is glory of God. So I keep saying along the years, bring Hadar home and you will win the glory of God, you know? And now sitting with you, you know, as a imam and a sheikh, for me, that I grew up in a Jewish religious society, it's very exciting and strange, you know? But this is our common ground. This is our common ground that we are fighting for the last 10 years. And especially after October 7, we used to say, if you don't bring Hadar Goldin to decent burial in the right way, you will have a lot of Hadar Goldin. And look what happened on October 7. Out and loud before cameras, they pictured their kidnapping of the dead. So what I'm fighting is for my son, but this would be a turning point to the whole concept of kidnapping dead people and preventing them from decent burial. So this is what I feel. This is my beliefs. These are our values, our family values that we are fighting for. And I wish we can bring back those important values to our society, not just in Israel, worldwide, to East and West, and whoever influence our lives.
Can't agree more. And I second your words. And I'm very clear, I'm very straight, I'm very honest that terrorism is terrorism. It should be considered as terrorism in every country, in every society. There should be zero tolerance against terrorism, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's Israel, whether it's USA, whether it's East or West. There should not be any place for terrorists. There should not be any sympathy towards terrorism, whether it's on the name of nationalism or religion. We must have to fight against terrorism together. We must have to fight against terrorism together. And you, me, we are the people who can put our governments and the international stakeholders on a place where we can question them and we can pressurize them and force them not to support terrorism by any means, on any name. And Islam, whosoever claims to relate his or her organization or approach or thinking aligned with Islam, they should be aware of it, that Islam has no place for terrorism. And whatever they are doing, this is not Islamic. And now Islamic world is it's changed. Countries, Islamic countries like Pakistan and other countries, they are denouncing this kind of fanaticism on the name of religion. We in Pakistan, we are fighting against terrorism, religious, violent extremism and terrorism for last 40 years. We have gone through huge challenges, still facing it. And we know and we have paid the price of terrorism in our country. So let me assure you that zero tolerance for terrorism in my society. We don't tolerate terrorists and we don't support terrorists. Unfortunately, the lack of information about Middle East, that people of Pakistan are still not aware that what actually Hamas is doing, how actually they are operating, and the Palestinian Authority, how they play with good Hamas, bad Hamas game, and sometimes they be advocate of Hamas attack of 7 October in the international arena, and then in Jenin camp they have to operate against Hamas when Hamas challenges them. So I guess Palestinians should know that their political cause can only be resolved on negotiation table. This is a new world. There is no space for wars anymore. There's no space for terrorism anymore. If there is a political agenda, legitimate political agenda, the only way go forward is negotiation, talks, dialogues, and engagement with communities and countries. I strongly believe in it, and I again repeat that Hamas and the supporter of Hamas, they should hand over the body of your son immediately to you. That is your just Islamic, ethical, moral, human right to have your son's body.
I would like to recommend you've been used the word negotiation. From our experience during the last 10 years, and specifically as we talk now, this is a big bluff. Because when you say negotiations, you mean you have the parties around the table, and you have the matters that you discussed on table, and you talk about it. But Hamas is not around the table. So actually, the negotiations are done by third parties, are done by and I would say specifically by Qatar, who actually support them in building their terror infrastructure. That's what we know now. We knew along the year, but now we have evidence. We don't have the real parties that are negotiating. So from our perspective, this is the big bluff. Looking at Qatar, Egypt, I don't know who else, Turkey, Iran, whoever has a say, Emirates, I don't know. It's not there yet because we give a waiver to terror. The fact that they are not forced to share their discussion, those Islamic representatives don't look in their eyes and actually admit that something is wrong here. And I'll go back to the religious ground. Maybe they don't want to sit with them around the same table. So to begin with, we should look for the right stakeholders. So if currently the whole discussions about hostages and whatever happens in Gaza is not between Hamas, but between those stakeholders that represent Hamas, and I would say represent, because this is the meaning. They should take responsibility to rectify this unjust and this violation, I don't know the word, of our religious values. So this is this is the objective we should present to them. And I would like to say that now, having this awful war around us, from south in Gaza, from north in Lebanon, from east, from Iran, brings to discussion a lot of parties that can help and convince and motivate the Hamas to do the right thing and let us bring back Hadar home so he can bury him. And I think that one, for me, a major example of how things can be resolved was on April, when the Iranian launched those horrible attacks against Israel, missile attack on Israel. And what we learned is how the coalition of all countries can help to prevent and destroy this attack. And those countries are not necessarily friends, but they have a shared enemy, this attack, and they knew what to do at the right time. My wish is to create this coalition, even the same and more, of allies that will help bring my son and all the other deceased and other hostages in the right way. But I'm talking about my son, and this will be a turning point, to use their power to do the right things. And I don't know, yesterday was the International Holocaust Day, and we are, both of us, me and my husband, second generation to Holocaust survivors. And as we talk, my daughter was in Poland, now in Auschwitz. My grandfathers, my parents' family did not have any grave, because they were killed by the Nazis, my father's family. And it's unbelievable that now, in our modern time, we experience the same thing. But what actually brought us the victory in Second World War was the joint force of the Allies, that first of all fought this enemy called Nazism at that time, Nazis. Now we have a different terror, but we have to begin with fighting for our values and disarm this terror entity from all the rational they try to build in, and all the others are silent. They should not be silent. They should convey our voice, and I'm truly appreciate and thankful to you for willing to convey this voice to the right people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really.